Have you ever wondered, maybe late at night or during a quiet moment, how you're really doing? Not just whether you feel okay today, but how your body is truly holding up underneath the surface. We go to the doctor for checkups, we get our blood pressure measured, we have our cholesterol checked. Those numbers are important, they give us valuable information. But they don't tell the whole story. They don't tell you about your functional age, how well your body is actually performing the tasks that keep you independent and vibrant. What if I told you there's a simple test you can do right now, in your own home, in less than 2 minutes, that can give you a remarkable glimpse into your longevity? A test that's been used in research studies around the world to predict not just how long you might live, but how well you'll live those years. A test that requires no special equipment, no expensive gadgets, and no medical training. Today, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to walk through a simple, 2-minute longevity test together. I'll guide you every step of the way, making sure you're safe and comfortable. And then we'll talk about what your results mean, not as a diagnosis, but as a window into your body's current strength and resilience. More importantly, we'll talk about what you can do to improve your score, no matter where you start. This isn't about competition or comparison. It's not about being good or bad. It's about knowledge. It's about understanding where you are today so you can make small, meaningful choices that shape where you'll be tomorrow. Your body is remarkably responsive. When you give it the right signals, it adapts. It gets stronger. It becomes more capable. And this test gives you a baseline, a starting point for that journey. So let's begin with the first part of our test, and it's one that might surprise you. It's not about how fast you can run or how much weight you can lift. It's about something far more fundamental, your ability to get up off the floor. Now, before we go any further, I need you to listen to your body. If you have any concerns about your balance, your joints, or your ability to get down and up safely, please have a sturdy chair nearby. Better yet, have someone with you. This test should be informative, not risky. Your safety comes first, always. The test I'm describing is called the sitting rising test, and it's been used in medical research to predict mortality risk with startling accuracy. In one famous study, researchers asked middle-aged and older adults to try to sit down on the floor and then stand back up, using as little support from their hands, knees, or other body parts as possible. They scored people based on how much support they needed. And what they found was remarkable. People who needed to use their hands or knees to get up and down had a significantly higher risk of dying in the following years than those who could do it effortlessly. Why? Because this simple movement requires so many different components of fitness. It requires leg strength to lower yourself down and push yourself up. It requires core stability to control your body through the movement. It requires balance to keep yourself from tipping over. It requires flexibility in your hips, knees, and ankles. It requires coordination between your brain and your muscles. This one movement is a symphony of physical capability, and how well you perform it tells researchers a great deal about your overall functional health. Now, I want you to try this, but only if you feel safe and steady. Find a clear space on the floor, preferably with a carpet or a mat. Stand with your feet comfortably apart. And then, as slowly and controlled as you can, try to lower yourself down to sit cross-legged on the floor. The goal is to use as little support from your hands as possible. Ideally, you can lower yourself all the way down using only your legs, without touching the floor with your hands or knees. If you need to put a hand down to catch yourself, that's fine. If you need to kneel first, that's fine too. Just notice what happens. Notice where you feel unsteady, where you feel tight, where you feel weak. Then, when you're ready, try to stand back up. Again, the ideal is to rise using only your legs, without using your hands to push off the floor or your knees. If you need to put your hands down, or if you need to roll onto your hands and knees and push up from there, that's valuable information. Just notice. Take your time. There's no rush. This isn't a test you pass or fail. It's information. So, what did you notice? Could you get down and up without using your hands? Did you need one hand? 2 hands? Did you need to use your knees? Did you feel unsteady at any point? Whatever your experience, it tells you something about where your body is today. If you were able to do it effortlessly, without using your hands, that's wonderful. It suggests that your leg strength, balance, and coordination are in a very good place. Keep doing whatever you're doing, because it's working. If you needed to use one hand or both hands, that's not a failure. It's simply information. It tells you that your leg strength might need some attention, or perhaps your balance could be a little sharper. It's a signal, not a sentence. If you found it very difficult, or if you couldn't do it at all without significant support, that's also valuable information. It tells you that this is an area worth focusing on. And here's the hopeful part, this is entirely trainable. You can absolutely improve your ability to get up and down from the floor with consistent, gentle practice. The sitting rising test is just one piece of the puzzle, though. It tells us about your overall functional strength and mobility, but there's another test, even simpler, that gives us a different kind of insight into your longevity. It takes just a few seconds, requires no getting down on the floor, and has been shown in study after study to be one of the most powerful predictors of how well you'll age. And that's where we'll turn our attention next. Now, let's move to the second test, and this one might be the simplest thing you'll do all day. It requires no movement except standing still. In fact, that's exactly what it is. The one-legged stand test. This test is deceptively simple, but it reveals something profound about your body. Balance is one of the first things to decline as we age, and it declines so gradually that we often don't notice it until it's gone. We just start holding onto counters a little more. We avoid walking on uneven ground. We become a little more cautious on stairs. These are all quiet accommodations we make without realizing that our balance is slowly slipping away. And balance matters far beyond just preventing falls. Research has shown that poor balance is associated with a higher risk of cognitive decline, frailty, and even earlier death. Why? Because balance requires the coordination of so many systems: your vision, your inner ear, your proprioception, that's your body's ability to sense where it is in space, and your muscle strength. When balance declines, it's often a sign that these systems aren't communicating as well as they should. Here's how to do the test. Find a clear space near a wall or sturdy counter, just in case you need to catch yourself. Stand tall with your feet together. Now, lift one foot off the ground, bending your knee slightly so your foot hovers near your standing ankle. Don't wrap it behind your leg, just lift it so it's not touching the floor. Keep your arms relaxed at your sides or gently crossed over your chest. Now, start counting. See how long you can stand on one leg without putting your foot down, without hopping, and without grabbing onto anything for support. If you need to use the wall or counter to steady yourself at first, that's fine. Just note it. This is about gathering information, not proving anything. So, how did you do? Were you able to stand for 10 seconds? 20? 30? A full minute? Here's what the research tells us. A study published a few years ago found that middle-aged and older adults who could not stand on one leg for 10 seconds had a significantly higher risk of dying from any cause over the following decade compared to those who could. 10 seconds. That's all. It's a remarkably low bar, and yet many people couldn't clear it. If you held it for 10 seconds or more, that's a good sign. It suggests your balance is in a healthy range. If you held it for 30 seconds or more, that's excellent. If you made it to a minute, your balance is truly impressive. But here's what I want you to hear, loud and clear. If you couldn't do it at all, or if you only lasted a few seconds, this is not a cause for despair. It's a cause for attention. Balance is not a fixed trait like eye color. It is trainable. It can be improved at any age. I've worked with people in their 80s and 90s who, through simple daily practice, went from unable to stand on one leg at all to holding it for 30 seconds or more. The body responds. It wants to get better. You just have to give it the right signals. And that's exactly what we'll talk about after we cover our third test. Because these three tests together, the sitting rising test, the one-legged stand, and one more, give us a complete picture. They tell us about your strength, your balance, and something else equally important. So let's move to the third and final test. This one might require a small tool, but chances are you have it in your home. I'm talking about grip strength. You might not think much about your hands when you think about longevity. But grip strength is one of the most powerful predictors of health outcomes in older adults. Study after study has shown that people with stronger grips tend to live longer, have better cognitive function, and maintain their independence longer than those with weaker grips. Why would something as simple as how hard you can squeeze be so important? Because grip strength is a proxy for overall muscle strength. It's easy to measure, and it correlates well with the strength of your whole body. If your grip is weak, it's likely that your leg strength, your core strength, and your overall muscle mass are also declining. And muscle mass, as we've discussed before, is your metabolic engine, your protection against frailty, your ticket to independence. There's also a more direct connection. Your hands are how you interact with the world. Opening jars, carrying groceries, lifting grandchildren, gardening, cooking, all of these require grip strength. When grip declines, these everyday tasks become harder. You start to avoid them. You become less active. And the cycle of decline continues. Here's how to test it. If you have a handheld dynamometer, the device doctors use to measure grip strength, you can use that. But most of us don't. So here's a simple alternative. Find a soup can or a water bottle. Hold it in your hand with your arm down at your side. Now, squeeze it as hard as you comfortably can. Notice the sensation. Does it feel solid and strong? Or does it feel like a struggle? For a more precise test, try this. Take a standard bathroom scale. Place it on a table or counter. Now, without leaning on the table, grip the edge of the scale with your hand and squeeze as hard as you can. Watch the number. That number, roughly, is your grip strength in pounds or kilograms. For men, a grip strength below about 57 pounds, 26 kilograms, is associated with increased risk. For women, the threshold is lower, around 35 pounds, 16 kilograms. Again, these are just reference points. If you're below these numbers, it's not a verdict. It's information. It's telling you that your muscles need attention. And the beautiful thing about grip strength is that it's remarkably responsive to training. Simple exercises like squeezing a soft ball, doing farmer's carries with a light weight, or even just hanging from a sturdy bar for a few seconds can build grip strength surprisingly quickly. So now we have 3 pieces of information. How you got up and down from the floor. How long you could stand on one leg. How strong your grip is. These 3 tests give you a window into your functional age, your body's true biological condition regardless of the number on your birthday cake. But information without action is just trivia. The real value of these tests is not in knowing your score, but in using that knowledge to guide your next steps. And that's where we're going now. Because each of these tests points to a specific type of training, a specific kind of attention your body is asking for. And once you know what to work on, you can make small, consistent changes that ripple out into every area of your life. So now you have 3 pieces of information about your body. You know how you did on the sitting rising test, the one-legged stand, and the grip strength test. You have a snapshot of your functional fitness today. But as I promised, this isn't about judgment or comparison. It's about direction. It's about knowing where to focus your energy so that every small effort you make counts. Let's start with the sitting rising test. If you found this challenging, if you needed to use your hands or your knees, or if you couldn't quite make it down and up smoothly, your body is telling you that it needs more functional strength and mobility. This isn't about lifting heavy weights at the gym. It's about practicing the movements you actually use in daily life. Here's a simple way to improve. Find a sturdy chair. Sit down and stand up repeatedly, but do it slowly and with control. Don't just plop down and pop up. Lower yourself gradually, as if you're trying not to make a sound. Stand up smoothly without using your hands to push off. Do this 5 times in a row, twice a day. That's it. That's 10 repetitions total. Over time, this movement becomes easier because your muscles and your brain are learning to work together more efficiently. You can also practice the actual movement of getting down to the floor. Start by kneeling on a soft surface, then practice transitioning from kneeling to sitting and back again. Use a sturdy piece of furniture for support if you need it. The goal isn't to do it perfectly today. The goal is to do it a little better next week than you did this week. Now, for the one-legged stand test. If you couldn't hold it for 10 seconds, or if you felt wobbly even for a few seconds, your balance needs some attention. And here's the wonderful news: balance improves quickly with practice. It's one of the most trainable aspects of fitness. Start by standing near a counter or wall. Hold on with one hand. Lift one foot off the ground and hold for 10 seconds. Switch sides. Do this a few times each day. As that becomes easier, try holding on with just one finger. Then try with no hands, but stay close to your support just in case. Then try closing your eyes for a few seconds. This removes visual input and forces your body to rely on its internal sense of position, which is a powerful way to improve balance. You can also practice while brushing your teeth. Stand on one leg for 30 seconds, switch, and stand on the other. It turns a mundane daily task into a balance workout. Over weeks and months, you'll notice that standing on one leg feels more natural, more stable. That stability translates directly into safer walking, better stair climbing, and greater confidence in everything you do. For grip strength, if your squeeze felt weak, your hands are asking for attention. And again, this is simple to address. Get a soft stress ball or a tennis ball. Squeeze it as hard as you comfortably can, hold for a few seconds, and release. Do 10 repetitions with each hand, twice a day. You can do this while watching television, while talking on the phone, while waiting for water to boil. Another excellent exercise is the farmer's carry. Find a light weight, a full water bottle, a small bag of flour, or a light dumbbell if you have one. Hold it in one hand at your side and walk slowly across the room, keeping your posture tall. Turn around and come back. Switch hands. This not only builds grip strength but also challenges your core and your balance simultaneously. If you want to challenge yourself further, try hanging from a sturdy bar for a few seconds. This is more advanced, so be careful and make sure the bar is secure. Even 5 or 10 seconds of hanging builds grip strength and decompresses your spine, which feels wonderful. Now, here's what I want you to understand about all of this. These 3 tests are not separate. They are connected. Your balance relies on your leg strength. Your leg strength relies on your overall muscle mass. Your grip strength reflects that muscle mass. When you improve one, you improve them all. A squat builds your legs and challenges your balance. A farmer's carry builds your grip and your core. A standing balance exercise strengthens your ankles, your knees, and your hips simultaneously. You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment. You need consistency. You need 5 minutes a day, spread across your normal routine. You need to treat these small practices not as chores, but as investments in your future self. Every time you do a chair stand, you're buying a little more independence. Every time you balance on one foot, you're depositing into your fall prevention account. Every time you squeeze that ball, you're ensuring you can open jars, carry groceries, and hold your grandchildren's hands for years to come. I want to leave you with a thought that I hope becomes a touchstone for you. Your body is always listening. It's always responding to the signals you send it. When you practice getting up and down from the floor, your body hears, "We need this ability." Maintain it. Strengthen it. When you practice standing on one leg, your body hears, "Balance matters." Keep these systems sharp. When you squeeze that ball, your body hears, "We need hand strength." Don't let this fade. You are not a passive passenger in this process. You are the driver. You are the architect of your own aging. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to start. Pick one test that felt challenging. Pick one small exercise. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. That consistency, that gentle persistence, is what transforms a body over time. I would love to hear how you did. Which test was easiest for you? Which was hardest? What small step are you going to take this week? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might encourage someone else to start their own journey. If this conversation has been helpful, if it's given you new tools to understand and care for your body, please give this video a like. It helps this channel reach more wonderful people who could use this message. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We're building something here, a community of people who believe that growing older doesn't mean growing weaker, that our bodies are capable of remarkable things at any age, and that small, consistent choices create a life of vitality and joy. Thank you for taking this 2-minute test with me. Thank you for your willingness to learn, to try, to care for yourself. You are worth every small effort. Here's to steady steps, strong hands, and many, many vibrant years ahead.